Hello and welcome back to another episode of BHS-TV News. I'm your host Matthew Jeffries, along with my co-host Wyatt Cleveland.
BHS-TV News starts now.
With a new semester just kicking off, BHHS has recently received a new principal, Mr. Strotter.
Mr. Strotter has recently replaced our past principal, Mr. Hollerith, and hopes to make some new changes to the school, one of which being the brand new warning bell, playing at the 5-minute mark of every passing period, letting students know they have 2 minutes left to make it to class.
Thanks for the details, Wyatt. And with giving our new principal a warm welcome, we also have a number of topics to dive into. To begin, it's the start of the second semester, and also the final semester for our seniors here at BHHS. Well, how's your semester, Wyatt?
Moving on.
Hello everyone, Mr. Fogel here from the counseling office. I just wanted to reiterate some important concepts about the school selection course process for next year. There are some deadlines that you need to know. So we are asking for March 21st by the end of school, so 2:50 p.m. for every student to select to have made their selections, fill out their course selection sheet with the parent's signature on it, submit that along with the computer printout from MyStar of having indicated in MyStar which courses you selected on the colored sheet that you have for the course selection. However, if you're done before, since March 21st is a long ways from now, feel free to turn it in any day up until March 21st. But recommendation is get it in soon, just get it off your plate. And I'd like to highlight just a few new classes that are offered to students this year. One of them in the engineering department is cybersecurity. Protecting software and computer hardware programs is a growing demand field. So we're going to introduce students to that area by having that class called cybersecurity. Next is Myself in Nature is being opened up, and you may recall that class being called Man in Nature. Now Man in Nature is Myself in Nature, and it's being opened up to both 11th graders and 12th graders. Now 11th graders can take a Myself in Nature course without the wilderness experience, which is the camping trip. It still remains a senior-only course for the camping trip. IB Theater, very advanced course. If you are involved in theater, this is an opportunity to take an advanced course in theater with Mrs. Bogret. Lastly, the Social Studies Department has a new class called Detroit Past and Present. This is a history of the city of Detroit and looking at the current conditions. All students should be able to reach their counselor through email or stopping into the office to set up an appointment to talk about course scheduling. 6 counselors on hand waiting to help you if you need any help during these next several weeks picking your classes. Take care. Bye now.
Now we take it to Henry, who will be interviewing seniors about how their year has been going and their thoughts on the future past high school. Take a look. Thank you, Henry. And to carry on the news, BHHS recently had the annual Powder Buff game.
This year, the two teams played volleyball on our very own campus gym.
Speaking of our campus, we have Drew here today to take us on a detour around the school, talking about campus life and the daily routine of our students.
Bloomfield Hills High School parents, are you left wondering what your child goes through on a day-to-day basis? Do they lack to tell you the details of what their school provides at dinner when you ask them how their day was? Well, we've got you covered. When you first drop off your child at school or they park in the junior lot, they'll be greeted by the main commons. Here in the main commons, they'll be able to socialize with friends before the bell rings. Once the bell does ring, they'll be headed to class. If their class has to do with gym or sports, they'll be headed to the athletic wing. If it has to do with art, they'll be headed to the art wing. If it has to do with science, there's a chance they'll be headed to the G wing. And if it's any other core class like math, or science, or government, or writing, they'll likely head to the communities. Freshmen and sophomores especially will have lots of core classes in the communities. Here in the communities there are 4 serveries, 2 on each floor. These serveries provide a wide variety of beverages and snacks, so make sure your child has enough money on their account so they can take advantage of this. Does your child take full advantage of the film classes provided by Bloomfield Hills High School? If so, they'll be in a separate building with a short walk outside where they'll be headed to Model. Model is where all the filming magic is done. Here is the main meeting space where they'll discuss with classmates and meet with their teacher. And here is the full-on studio. There's a full green screen and 3 heavy-duty cameras. But it gets better. There's also the control room, where your child will learn very valuable film and editing skills. Once your child gathers all their video, they'll head to the computer lab, where they have full access to Adobe Premiere Pro through the school, where they can edit their projects. And with that, we hope you learned a thing or two about what your child goes through on a daily basis. And we hope you feel a little bit better sending them off to school tomorrow.
Thanks, Drew. March is approaching, and with it comes the end of winter. But with spring creeping in, so does junior testing season. And before we move on, I'd like to give a good luck to those testing.
And now, we will be exploring a worldwide unforgettable event, this winter's Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics.
That's right. This year, 91 countries are joining each other to compete for the achievement of their goals, honor, medals, and records. Closing in on a notable athlete from this year, we have Nathan Chen. This figure skater gracefully broke the world record for the most points scored in figure skating with 113.97 as his final score, winning him gold alongside ownership of a record.
As it is February, that means it's also Black History Month. We take it to Marsalis for the details.
As February comes to an end, we should reflect upon how Black History Month started and why it is such an important meaning to honor Black history. Many people don't know that originally Black History Month was only a week. It started when an alumni from the University of Chicago, Carter G. Woodson, proposed making a time to celebrate Black history in the month of February in 1926. Carter had proposed it to be in February since President Lincoln and Frederick Douglass both shared birthdays in the same week of February. This proposal was officiated as a national celebration in 1976 by President Gerald Ford, where it has become the month-long celebration we know today.
In honor of Black History Month, we like to shine a spotlight on a historical Black figure, Mary W. Jackson. Mary was NASA's first Black female engineer. She was a part of a group of very important women who helped NASA succeed in getting American astronauts into space. Mary worked as NASA's human computer at Langley. Jackson helped break barriers and open opportunities for African Americans and women in the field of engineering and technology. A few years ago, NASA's headquarters building in Washington, D.C. was named after her. There is a movie about her life working at NASA during the space race called Hidden Figures. It can be found on Disney Plus and other TV platforms.
Without Carter G. Woodson, Black History Month would not be what it is today. We take this time to honor him and the accomplishments he established to make Black History Month what it is today.
Thanks, Marsalis. On Sunday, February 13th, Super Bowl 56 took place, opened by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and also featured a spectacular halftime show featuring Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and the surprise appearance of 50 Cent. Speaking of which, Matthew, who were you rooting for?
I personally was rooting for the Bengals.
Well, that's too bad. The Rams are always going to win. Better luck next time. But moving on, the Rams beat the Bengals 23-20 in the last 5 minutes, making it certainly a game to remember.
Now, we have our final segment of this month's news. As we wrap it up, Let's take a look at what our BHHS forensics team has recently been up to.
In 2014, the Chapman University Survey on American Fears revealed America's biggest fear, public speaking. But several students at BHS tackle this fear head-on as members of the forensics team. Forensics is split into 12 different categories, and each team member competes in one of them. Some categories are dramatic and interpretive, while others are serious and informative. Each team member competes in a category that best suits their interests and personality. The Bloomfield Hills High School forensics team has a long-standing history of success, excelling in competitions and even taking home many state titles. Auditions for the team take place in December. Those who make the team then begin their journey to the competition season, which officially begins during the qualifying competitions that take place from February through March. Team members vie for a place on the regional team or the state team. The forensics team's first competition took place on February 12th. Today, we'll be talking with members of the team to hear about how the competition went.
This past competition was super fun. It was a really exciting way to kick off the season after, a long time of separated online competitions where everyone competed from their own houses. Even though it wasn't an in-person competition where all schools were at the same venue, our whole team got to compete from our high school, which was really exciting because in between rounds I could talk to my friends, see how their day was going. I got to be with my friends for lunch and to hear their progress throughout the day. And all in all, it was just a really exciting way to kick off the season.
This past competition was an amazing experience. It was so much fun to be back in person with everyone. I feel like in my category of broadcasting specifically, we were really able to bond with the underclassmen and new team members, which was something that was really important to all of the captains for this season in particular, after 2 years of being online and in virtual settings for competitions.
This past weekend was really great. It was really nice that even though we were online, we got to all be together as a team in person here at the school, and I was really proud of everyone in my category, and we had a lot of fun.
It was great to hear from our members of our very own BHS forensics team, and we can't wait to hear how they do for the rest of the season.
With that, I'd like to thank Heather, Lena, and Dominic. Man, it definitely has been a cold yet eventful winter.
I agree. Even though spring is approaching, everyone should still try to stay safe and stay warm on those icy roads. Now, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at BHS-TV News and on Instagram, BHSTV.news, to stay up to date. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to listen here next month for more news about BHS schools and events.
I'm Matthew Jeffries.
And I'm Wyatt Cleveland.
And this has been BHS-TV News.